Sterlite Technologies is here, and we've got Ankit Agarwal, the Managing Director, with us. Thank you so much for taking time out. Now, let's just start off with your outlook on revenue growth guidance, because that has come in at about 10 to 12% in FY24, which is lower than the FY23 growth rate. Why have you lowered your revenue guidance?
Yes, good morning. Thank you for having me. So as we shared through the course of last 12 months, we focused a lot in terms of focusing on our core growth areas and the optical business in particular. We've also looked at focusing on services area in very specific markets, and particularly in the private sector. And we recently shared some more details about our foray into the IT services part. So when you look at where we are, I think there's a lot of focus that's come in the last 12 months, and we're quite proud of the way the business has grown. And broadly over the last 12 months, we grew, taking our business now to about 6,900 crores as we ended FY23. And as we currently see our market, we do see a good growth, particularly into second half of this year. And overall for the year, we've guided between 10 to 12%. I think the key thing to understand here is that as the markets continue to grow for us, a big focus for us is particularly North America and Europe. And as we see both those markets, we believe there will be some concerns, particularly North America. And we certainly believe that will ease out into H2, and where we will have better growth.
So just wanted to understand, approximately 5G, as we understand, has already been rolled out in about 3,500 towns and cities of the 7,000 present currently in the country. How many more orders and what kind of value of orders have you received so far? And, you're looking at rolling out in the future?
Sure. So one, I'll say from a global perspective, we have close to 1 billion subscribers for 5G. And what we believe broadly from a market perspective, this will take it to about 3.5, 4 billion subscribers in the next 4 to 5 years. So clearly there is tremendous network that needs to get built out for the next 4 to 5 years. On top of that, we're also seeing in India, for example, that we currently have anywhere between 50 to 70 million 5G subscribers. And that will get to about 250, 300 million subscribers in the next 3 years. So I think both of these are quite positive trends. There's significant amount of fiber infrastructure that is getting built out and has got accelerated, not only by Jio and Airtel, but we're also now seeing government looking to move forward with BharatNet on phase 3. And that will also require north of $10 billion of investment to make sure that fiber gets connected to 3 lakh plus villages, which are not connected currently. So when we look at a global scenario, there's a lot of fiber that needs to be done, both for 5G as well as fiber to the home, as well as in India for fiber to the home, fiber to enterprise, as well as for 5G connectivity.
Growth is lower than last year, but your fund requirement is higher. You've approved a right issue of 500 crore. You're looking at 1,000 crore, capital infusion. Why is that?
So I think overall, what we wanted to share is that clearly there is a vision for the optical business to become world top 3. That's something that we're very passionate about. We're very excited about. I think from where we are, 2-3 things are happening. Number one, we're taking our fiber cable capacity from 33 million to 42 million fiber kilometers. That capacity will largely come on stream by H1 of this year. So that's something that will add a good opportunity both on our top line and bottom line. The second part is we're looking to scale up our optical interconnect business. So there will be some investments that we look to scale that up. So these are largely the areas that we think currently where we need to make investments. Broadly, we're looking at investment about 350 to 400 crores to make both of these happen in the current year.
Growth really come back, for a business which is on the cusp of 5G, internationally things are looking up. 10 to 11% growth is growth, but that is not the growth which would excite anybody. I'm looking at when this 20% late teen growth, when will that come back?
So I think, look, broadly, as I said, over the next 3 years, 4 years, there is certainly a lot of opportunity for us to scale up. We ourselves are excited because we think we're in the right place, right time. There was a lot of focus in the last 12 months to deprioritize and defocus from other areas. We had got into wireless, we were in OSS, BSS, we were in data center in the UK. So we've exited all of those. And so I think it's much more simplified business, but very focused business, as I said, particularly on the optical part. And we've also now announced in the last results a demerger of our services business, which will be very important for both businesses, this optical business and services business, to pursue their own growth journey. So I think with all of these actions in place, I think we're quite well placed for scaling up, as you're mentioning, with the tailwinds that are there on the market. What we've simply guided is that in H1, currently we do see some inventory build up in North America, because of which, as that clears through in H1 of our year, in H2, we believe there'll be stronger growth.
You know, one question in the market also right now is, Ankit, that where were up until now annual cash flows deployed, given that debt hasn't quite come off substantially? And I mean, should we see any material reduction in the debt amount in this fiscal?
Yes, absolutely. And again, that's an important area for us. On one side, we do believe that we have this amount of capex, about 350, 400 CR. But that will then take us to the 42 million that we see sufficient for our current growth and for the near-term growth. On the other side, we have talked about our debt coming down. So happy to share that our net debt did come down broadly from about 3,400 to around 3,100 net debt. And where we're looking to take this to by the end of the year is to take it to 2.5 times net debt EBITDA. So we think that is a healthy place for us to be. We do believe we will generate positive cash flows this year and take that partly to finance the capex and partly to reduce our debt.
Would be participating in the right issue? I mean, would you be committing personal capital?
So the from overall perspective, we have already shared the quantum is 500 crores, and the promoter would be participating. We're just looking at the market conditions, looking at the timing of it, and of course, based on board approval, etc. For the timing, we'll move forward.
The joker in the pack this year for everybody has been China. And I'm getting a conflicting signal. I speak to metal companies, beginning of the year they were worried, now they are not worried. I speak to chemical companies, they continue to remain worried. China is the swing factor in your business. How is that moving this year?
So I think that's a change. I would like to highlight that we've very consciously chosen, if you look at where our sales today is, we're majority in US, in Europe, and then to a smaller extent in India, Australia, etc. So we very consciously shifted our focus markets to very large key accounts in these markets. And with them, we have secured typically 2 to 3 year contracts. So that's something that we're very positive about. It's been a lot of effort to build the right product portfolio, technology, and IP to move towards absolute tier 1 customers. And to add to that, we've also made investments in these geographies from manufacturing perspective to make sure that we are the preferred partner for our customers. China is 50% of the world fiber market, but it largely matters how much the local demand is and how much the local players are able to keep up to that. So there has been some short-term delay in China mobile tender. In fact, in last few days, China telecom tender also came out, which was 16% higher. So I think overall we are positive about the China demand. They themselves are very bullish on 5G and already made some announcements linked to 6G. So again, from a next 5 to 7 year perspective, I continue to believe China will be strong in terms of fiber demand.
All right. Thanks so much then for taking time out and joining in and giving us a view as to how business is shaping up, Ankit. Good to have you on board.